and provocative conversations. I am so excited. I'm so excited because we get to talk about three of my most favorite things. One is self-discovery, the other is breakthrough, and the third is possibility. So that's what this evening is about. And the evening is really about, and the intentions around this evening is to inspire, to provoke, to empower each of us to step powerfully into our what's next. Our what's next, that next level, to really great and celebrate all the things that you've already created, but really, what is that life that you dream about? What have you yet to achieve? Tonight, I'm declaring, as a result of you being here, what I'm standing for is this. Things up until now that have been impossible will become possible tonight because you say so. Because you say so. What do you guys think about that? Yes? Y'all look good too. Happy holidays. We're right there. Can you believe it? We, for all practical purposes, 2012 is done. And we're stepping powerfully into 2013. Yeah. And I said that tonight is about three of my most favorite things, and for sure it is so. Self-discovery. Self-discovery for me is by far one of the most powerful things that exist on the planet. When we look around the world, I think we will all agree that discovery is absolutely powerful, yes? But when you stop and think about self-discovery, it is where all of our possibilities live as human beings. Every time you and I discover one new thing about ourselves, in that precise moment, who we are becomes someone bigger, greater. Our ability to navigate ourselves, one with ourselves and with the world, goes up exponentially. So self-discovery is key. And it is not necessarily something that we're all that intentional about. In fact, as adults, we're told that it's not okay to not know, when in fact, all possibility really lives inside of self-discovery. So no matter how self-actualized you are, how evolved we are, there's always more. And one of the great philosophers said is that our greatest enemy to learning is what we already know. And one of my personal goals is to, and a lot of you have heard me say this many times over, is to live to the ripe old age of 100 plus, but to never, ever, ever get old. And I know that one of the greatest accesses to never getting old is when we are intentional about our self-discovery. So that's one of the key things that I'm so excited about, that you'll get to discover something new about yourself tonight. The second thing that I'm moved by that's available for us tonight is breakthrough. And why that moves me so is that most of us live our lives from more, better, different. 10% more, 10% better, 10% different. How many of you can relate to what I'm saying? Raise your hand. Yeah, you wake up, it's good, but it's 10% more, 10% better, 10% different. And each year you can't really differentiate that much from the previous year. Well, what breakthrough makes available is whole new level of engaging, whole new level of loving, whole new level of expressing, whole new level of producing. So that's exciting, don't you think? That's pretty exciting. So really begin to ask yourself as we start tonight, what would be a breakthrough for me? What would be a breakthrough for me? And the third piece that I get a lot of, people give me a lot of crap about this one, but I just absolutely love possibility. Because what I know really, not like an idea, but you and I as human beings are unlimited possibilities. Now just stop for a moment and think about that. If you engage with yourself like that as a way of life, as a lifestyle, and you woke up each morning and the way you related to yourself was, I'm a possibility. I am a blank canvas. Yesterday really has nothing to say about today, and it in no way can limit me unless I give it permission. So those are three of the key things that we're going to be looking at tonight and engaging in is self-discovery, breakthrough, and really beginning to, like, hey, blank canvas. I am a possibility. I am the author. What am I going to script? I am the painter with the brush. What shall I paint? When it is unlimited colors that are available. So it's very exciting. And the intent is that you leave inspired, that you leave empowered, that you leave provoked. And I said this evening it's about purposeful and provocative conversations. And in provoking and being willing to be provoked, and most people when they hear that word, they hear something very different than what I'm intending. But by your willingness, if you're willing to be inspired, to be provoked, to move, to ignite, to excite from where you are, that which up until now has been impossible can actually become a reality. So it's very, very powerful. Think about it for a moment. Let's just pause. What would happen if you were intentional and purposeful about your conversations? Purposeful actually means to be intentional, right? And then not only were you intentional and purposeful about your conversations, that you were very conscious of what you were provoking in your conversations. What were you calling forth in your conversations? You see, each and every one of us is one conversation away from transformation. You're one conversation away from transformation. You and I, always. Every dream was born in a conversation. And most dreams are killed in a conversation. So think about this. The chairs that you're sitting in right now, they were once a conversation. And someone else had another conversation about the idea of these chairs, and somebody else had another, and the conversations that they were intentional about and purposeful about really empowered people to take actions or not take actions in alignment with that vision and that conversation. Does that make sense? Yeah, the Empire State Building was actually at one point a conversation. Ooh, wouldn't it be great if? And it was the subsequent conversations after the initial conversation that provoked and ignited action to have that become a reality. Making sense? The Golden Gate Bridge was absolutely a conversation. And let me tell you, how many of you know the story about John Strauss? Well, he's the original designer of the Golden Gate Bridge. And when he started the conversation of the Golden Gate Bridge, his engineering and the engineering of the Golden Gate Bridge was so far in the future of anything that had ever been designed before, most people tried to kill that conversation. But because he was purposeful and intentional about his conversation, that it ignited power and actions to stay with that, so that vision that became a conversation became a reality. Make sense? Yeah. Even this studio that we're in tonight, this 6 months ago was a conversation. It didn't exist. It was bare walls, raw space, and look around. But there were subsequent conversations that came after that that empowered actions to have that happen. Me standing here in front of you, it was me and some other folks that have done leadership that said, hey, it would be a good idea. And we had to keep being purposeful about our conversations because there were a lot of other conversations that came into play. But when you're purposeful and intentional about what it is that you're saying out of your mouth, what are you provoking and calling forth in your conversations, it either ignites and brings your dreams to life, or it can kill a dream. Does that make sense? Yeah. So how many of you are ready to get some work done and to take some new ground? Let me see the hands. Okay, we're going to take some ground. Tonight can be groundbreaking, but who is that up to? Yes. Now, do you think it's going to automatically happen? No, it's not going to automatically happen. How will you need to be here tonight to ensure that it's groundbreaking and that you leave with a breakthrough and you access a new piece of yourself tonight? Present, open, authentic, honest, vulnerable, trusting. Yeah. So it's very particular ways of being that people that when we see dreams manifesting and manifesting at a certain rate, at a certain speed, they are coming to life in a particular way. It doesn't just automatically happen. So again, we'll embrace that piece and be intentional right now about how we're being, because life is when, folks? Now. Now we hear that. We hear that. That's an overstated statement, an undervalued statement. Overstated, undervalued. Life is now. Now, a lot of us are present to that because of some things that we just recently went through. Hurricane Sandy, that'll put you right in the seat of life is now. What just happened in Connecticut, life is now. But just imagine, minus tragedies, what would your life be like if you lived it with that kind of urgency? I love Zig Ziglar, and he's a motivational speaker that has passed away now. But he said, how would your life be? And I talk about this a lot. If you lived your life every day like it was the day before vacation. Now, yeah, you guys are laughing, right? So talk about that. Think about that. What is your life like the day before vacation? What do? You move heaven and earth. Every bill is paid. House is clean. Everything you procrastinated for the last 6 months, somehow you find all the time to do it in 1 or 2 days. I am not just sleep, snoring on the tarmac before I ever take off from vacation because I'm exhausted from getting things done. So that's really living life with a certain level of urgency, not desperation, but urgency. And pause here and think about what dreams would actually already be a reality in your life if you had embraced them with that level of urgency. Make sense? So really begin to think about that. It's no accident. In fact, I don't believe in accident that each and every one of you, not some other people, but each and every one of you are sitting in these seats tonight. You. It's no accident that you are here, right? Right at the closing of 2012. Now, many have said that the world was coming to an end in 2012. How many have heard that whole conversation? Okay, the world is going to end in 2012. And, I began to think about it. I hadn't paid it much attention, but quite frankly, when I started to think about this conversation and this night, I said, what if the world is getting ready to end? And then I pushed my thinking a bit. It would be nice if the world ended as we know it. Parts of it, that is. What if the world is not physically ending, but what if we left everything that didn't work in 2012 back in 2012? How about that? What if we left murder back in 2012, homelessness in 2012, hunger back in 2012, right? Procrastination back in 2012, self-loathing back in 2012, self-doubt. If we left all of that stuff back in 2012, and we really did use the amazing privilege and opportunity called the blank canvas, a new year, 2013, and you stepped into it powerfully, win-win, powerful, urgent, yeah, empowered, self-loving, not self-loathing, mattering. What if we created a world in 2013 where everybody got that they mattered? See, mattering is critical because when we get that we matter and when people get that they matter, there's some things they don't do, like murder and rob. And they know that there's no thing that they can't do. When we know that we matter, we know that there's no thing that we can't do. So what if 2012 really is the end of the things that don't work, and 2013 is the possibility to create the life and the world that you dream about? What do you guys think? Yeah? Is that exciting? Yes? Okay, cool. So that's really, it's a big conversation that we're stepping in tonight. It's just not chat as usual. So I'm going to invite you to really open yourselves up to see what would that be for you. And who are you in the matter? Who do you get to be in the matter to create the world you dream about, the life you dream about? Like tonight, because you declare what dreams that up until now have been impossible will absolutely not only be possible, but will become a reality because of who you decide you are tonight. That's hot. That's sexy, right? In leadership, we say results are sexy. And I'm telling you, living the life you dream about is sexy. Creating the families you dream about is sexy. Really, you know, one life, not a dress rehearsal. So we're going to engage in that via a question. One question we'll start with, and a lot more will open up. But I want you to think about, what is the genius that you were born with? And are you using that genius? If not, why not? So what is the genius, the gift, the talent, the thing that when you popped out here on planet Earth, it came with you? And are you using that genius? And if not, why not? And if so, what will be possible? What would you create? How does that sound? Y'all ready to engage in that conversation? Yes? Okay, great. It's a lot to chew on. I love it. I love that question. So I have someone that has volunteered to be the first person up to warm us up. And she's a guest and a volunteer and a graduate of this body of work. And her name is Gwendolyn Martinez. Will y'all give Gwen a big hand? She's courageous enough to... Okay, Gwen, have a seat in the possibility seat. How about that? Okay, so we're going to have a conversation, but when we're having a conversation, you're actually listening, but you want to start to think about for yourselves, what is that for you? Okay? So, Gwen, what is the genius that you were born with?
Well, Sylvia, the genius that I was born with is singing.
Singing. Okay. Do you sing?
I do.
Okay. And are you using that genius?
I am not. No, I'm not.
Okay, so you know how to sing, but you're not singing.
Yeah.
But it's the genius and the gifting that you were born with.
Yes.
Is it something that you want to do, you would love to do,
yes.
to use the genius and sing?
Yes.
Okay.
Since I was a little girl, I would perform for my family. My family would get together every Sunday just to see me sing and dance, and I was like 2 years old. And then as I grew older, I wanted to go and I joined the choir.
And then what happened? You joined the choir. You've been doing it since you were 2. You know that it's your gifting and your talent and part of your genius. So why aren't you singing?
Well, my dad, he is a musician. He composes music, and he's been my mentor. And so I remember we were singing in the choir, I Dreamed the Dream. And I was so proud because I learned the song and I thought, you know, I'm a soprano, great. And I asked my dad, I said, Dad, you know, would you mind listening to me? And when I sang for him, he said, he don't know how to sing. So that was when I decided I'm not going to sing anymore.
Okay. So when he said, and I see the emotions here, what did you just connect to?
Feeling like I am not good enough to sing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's what actually happened. When he said, you can't sing, you decided what?
That I can't, that I'm insignificant and I can't sing.
So you're insignificant and you can't sing. And since then you have not been singing, just having the desire to sing?
Yes,
okay.
A great desire. And even when I try to go and get out of my comfort zone and, you know, go to karaoke, I panic, like physically get ill. I shake, my heart beats, and I can't do it.
Okay, I got a couple questions for you. Ready? So your dad said you can't sing, when in fact you have been singing since you were 2. So is it a fact that you can't sing?
No, it's not a fact.
It's a what?
A belief.
Okay. And however, you use that belief that you can't sing, and when you embrace that belief you can't sing, you decided you were not enough and that you were insignificant. Now, is it true that you're not? Is it a fact that you're not enough and that you're insignificant?
No.
Okay. It is a what?
A belief.
Absolutely. Now, what's the truth about a belief? How does a belief differ from a fact?
That a belief you can change.
Okay. So now you get that logically. So you know that it is not a fact that you cannot sing. It is a belief that you cannot sing, and you attach to that also, I'm insignificant. Can you see how a woman with the belief, I can't sing and I'm insignificant, she'll never be able to, when she gets to karaoke, have any other experience other than the upset stomach, nervous, oh my goodness, I can't do it, right? Because that belief, that platform, does not support you in stepping forward.
And it's interesting that you say that, because I even noticed that in my day-to-day life, I don't just hold back my voice in singing. I hold back my voice in even expressing myself at work with my family. I hold my voice back.
So you see how it's costing you in other areas, this belief. So it doesn't serve you.
No.
Yeah. Are you willing to have it be different?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that's what she was going to say. That's what we all say. Yes, 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 I'm willing to have it be different. But I'm going to really work with you. Are you willing to hear and open up to this? So it's one thing to say you're willing to have it be different, right? It's a whole nother thing to really be willing to have it be different. Sometimes we'll say we're willing to have something be different and we're committed to having it be different, when indeed we're really not committed to having it be different. We're committed to talking about how bad it's been, saying we're committed to having it be different. So which one is it? Are you committed to having it be different? Are you committed to saying you would like to have it be different, right? And really you want to be right about how bad it's been. So which one is it?
Committed to making it.
Oh. You're having that coming out a little tough there. No, really. So are you committed to having it be different? And I put that in there because that's the stuff that's invisible. We'll say one thing and we hear what's coming out of our mouth, but you want to dig a little deeper and say, am I saying that I'm committed to having it be different, or am I really committed to having it be different? See, we're never minus commitment as human beings. We are never, ever, ever minus commitment. So y'all repeat after me. I am. This is from the basic. Always. 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 Right. Right. About everything. Everything. That's why it's important to get clear about what you're being right about. So up until now, what you have been being right about is I'm insignificant, I can't sing, and I'm not enough. Can you see that? Those are beliefs, and they don't work. Those beliefs, why is it so important to tap into our beliefs? Our beliefs are the platform. That's the platform from which you're living a part of your life from. And having that belief system as your platform will never empower you and give you access to your voice, singing and otherwise. Make sense? Okay. The good news is that they are just that, beliefs. And while they're not facts, facts can't change. Beliefs what?
They can.
They can change. But are you willing to redesign that belief, to creating a belief that will support you in stepping out courageously and embracing your genius and singing to the world or wherever you want to sing and owning your voice in other parts of your life?
I'm committed to redesigning my belief.
So what would be a belief? Because, you know, when could you do that?
Now.
Yeah, right now. It's only true because you, what? Yeah, it's only true that you're not enough and you're insignificant because you've said so. And you've been being right about that. So what are you willing to be right about now? What would be a belief that would serve you? that will empower you to step into that genius and that gift?
That I am enough.
Mm-hmm.
That I was born with a gift that I can share with the world.
Okay, now you need this. That's good. That's powerful. Y'all give her a big hand. But now have your head and heart integrate and say that from that place. Not the words of it, but own it.
That I am significant. Mm-hmm. That I was born with a gift to share with the world.
Mm-hmm. And now, okay, great. Give her another big hand. And then now the next step would be to declare it. So what's your desire? What's your desire? Is it to sing somewhere publicly? What is it?
Yes, there's this place that I love called the Village Underground. I've gone so many times, and it's an open mic, and I've always wanted to get up and sing on that stage. Okay,
so connect the two. Declare the beliefs and declare singing at the Village Underground. Declare that right now.
I am declaring that I am born with a gift to sing, and I will sing at the Village Underground.
By when? See, water's wet, rocks are hard. Everything else is a nice idea, y'all. So you don't need permission, but just like declare. First quarter of 2013.
By the end of February, I will get on that stage and sing.
23rd. Okay, great. Let's give her a hand. Couple more really quick questions, and I see that we need to take an intermission. But how does that feel to say that? Does it feel comfortable or uncomfortable?
It actually feels exciting.
Exciting, exciting. But does it feel like a pair of old shoes or new shoes?
New shoes.
New shoes, right? Okay, so everybody fold your arms. Ooh, wee. So comfortable, right? Then I teach communication, not supposed to be closed communication, but that feels so good, right? Now, fold your arms the other way. How does that feel? Like, ooh, I don't even know how to. Awkward. Back the other way. At home. Back the other way. Awkward. So really what I'm offering you, it will not just automatically happen. It will not feel like those old pair of new shoes. But it's inside of your commitment to be right and your commitment to have, not treat this dream like a fantasy, but to treat the dream like a goal. And so really it's going to be up to you to declare yourself every day, I am significant, I am enough. So you have your voice in all areas of your life. And I'm an amazing singer, and I will be singing at the Village Underground. And let us know so we can come and see you. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let's thank Gwen. Thank you. Thank you. That was purposeful, yes. Purposeful conversation, intentional, provoking. Okay, great. So let me hear from someone. What did you connect to? What is the genius that you were born with? And are you using your genius, your gifts and talents? And if not, why not? And if so, talk about what that experience is like. So let's talk about it a little bit. Who wants to share? Okay, great. So if you'll take the mic and just stand up and tell people your name, and then just tell us what opened up for you. What is the genius that you were born with, and are you using it?
Well, one of my geniuses is cooking. I'm Jessica, by the way. And one of my geniuses is cooking, and I've just started really using my gift. And I'm going to plaster. I declare that by next week, places will be plastered with my flyers and my Bijou's Kitchen name, and food will be selling out the door Because I know that I have a gift, and I've been waiting for other people to validate it, which is why it's taking me so long to do it. And they have, and I still wasn't doing it because I wasn't validating myself and I wasn't trusting myself. And so now, life is now, and there's no other way to do it but to practice being uncomfortable until I'm comfortable.
Oh, beautiful. Y'all give a big hand. She's been getting a lot of good coaching, right? And I kind of got a good guess from where. Now, everything you said, beautiful. What is it like to live in your genius and to live in your gifting? What is that like for you?
Like every time I make a new step, it's exciting. Mm-hmm. It is. It's not that every step doesn't take a little hesitance and but once I do it, and I'm taking those steps a lot quicker now. Like when I first did it, I was like, this is like over 2 months of me recommitting to this and And then in a week, I've got a flyer, I've got pictures, I'm writing a proper conversation on it, and I've got a business number. I mean, so it's every step is but once it's done, I'm check that out.
Very, very powerful. One little thing I noticed she did like this when she talked about it. And what would this imply? A hope. That there's some doubt. So in declaration, it's not futuristic. It's minus no evidence before you get the first client. Speaking it and standing in it and owning it from that place. There's something to be said about clear intentions. Have you noticed places where you had clear intentions, where you have said, this shall happen, and all back doors are slammed? You've already accomplished that. But what I see is what? Passion, commitment, excitement, and you're gaining that momentum and exercising that muscle and experiencing yourself differently every time you have a win. What is the name of the business?
Bijou's Kitchen.
Bijou's?
Bijou's Kitchen, Jessica's Cuisine.
Okay, I didn't get that. Say that again. Bijou's Kitchen and
Jessica's Cuisine.
And Jessica's Cuisine. Okay, great. Fantastic. Let's give her a big hand. Can't wait. What have you noticed when you are in the presence of people that are living their vision, that are embracing their gifts, that are sharing their gifts with the world? What have you noticed about those people?
Yeah, how excited and passionate they are.
They're excited, they're passionate. What else is true about them? They're confident. They're happy, joyful. They're alive. There's an aliveness about them that's contagious. It's impossible to be in the presence of someone that is actually living their dreams and using their gifts and talents and not be inspired or moved by them. Impossible. So it's so worth it. Yes, Jessica? Yes, great. Let's give her another big hand. And I'm so excited. Because that was just how many months ago? September. September, when we went through the process of what it is to powerfully declare. And so it's not just declaring, that's part of it. It's declaring, and then inside of that declaration, asking yourself the very next question, who do I get to be? Distinct and different from who I've been historically to have it turn out. So when I worked with Jessica in September, she was clear, we crystallized the vision, and then we got very clear about who she would need to be, distinct and different from who she had been historically, to have her speak and be living it now. And one of the ways was courageous and risking, because those were two ways of being that historically she hadn't tapped into. So as we begin to look at your genius, some of you may be just starting it, thinking about it, not stepped into it. You want to be looking at both. So great, great work. Who else? What is your genius? What is your gifts and talent? Are you living it? Are you using it? If not, why not?
Good evening. My name is Damien. The genius that I was
So you're standing for justice
Right.
for others and people that don't have equal access.
Right. I can remember as being as young as like 4 on the playground fighting for my little cousin. He may have got knocked off the monkey bar or off the
Okay.
swing.
All right. How are you using that? Are you using that?
I am definitely using it. Over the last few months, it's been really transformational for me, in my experience, in standing for marginalized young people between the ages of 10 and 19 in New York City and around the world, starting a nonprofit, working with them, doing leadership training, and doing mentoring. So
Okay.
it's been very awesome.
All righty. That's it. Great. Thank you. Thank you. That's the piece that's so exciting about breakthrough, right? Because when you break through and stand powerfully in your gifts, the world shifts. The world becomes a better place. It really, really does. So how about someone who's not operating that would like to get some work done? You know it, you can see it, you see your genius, you see your talents, but for whatever reason, there's something there that's in your way. Anybody in the room? Yes.
My name is Carolina, and I would say that my genius is I was born being a leader, but I'm not using it right now.
And why not?
Because I just discovered it, and
You just discovered that you're a leader?
well, people have told me in the past that I have the skills to be a leader, but I never believed it.
And what had you not believe it? They said, hey, Catalina, you are a leader. So what stood between them telling you that and you having a sense that you were and you not being a leader, stepping into your leadership skills?
Probably fears from the past, from childhood, problems in self-esteem. So I never believed it until
Fears from what? And self-esteem problems because of what? What's the belief that you had that have you have self-esteem issues?
Well, when I was a little girl, I had an accident, and because of that, I have to wear a patch, like an eye patch, like a pirate. So I used to call, everybody used to call me all these names when I was a little girl. So I think that kind of damaged a little bit my self-esteem.
Okay, so step back just a little bit. You wore the patch, they call you names, and what did you decide about you?
In that moment,
Yeah. Now, you probably didn't see it at that age, but now that you can look back on it, there was definitely a decision that you made about yourself. And I see the tears there, so you're connected to it, right? So what did you make up about yourself? What was the belief that you made up about you?
I decided to believe them.
That what? That you're not
That
what?
I was ugly,
That you were ugly,
that I was weird.
that you were
because
weird.
I used to wear a patch. So I think that damaged my self-esteem.
Okay. Now, is it true that you're ugly and you're weird?
No,
Okay.
probably a little bit weird, but
Well, join the world, because we're all a little, if you're a little bit weird, raise your hand, right? Yeah, we're all a little bit weird. Okay, so maybe a little bit weird, but definitely not ugly. And inside of embracing that belief that you're ugly, you decided something, that you're not enough, you're not worthy. What did you decide? I don't matter. Which one?
I guess I decided to stay back and never show my leader skills. And when probably somehow it showed up and some people brought it to me, I was like, no, it's not true. No.
So you would press the reject button, no matter how many times somebody, how many of you could relate to this? No matter how many times somebody mirror your strengths, your skills, your genius, and you'll press that reject button. No, I hear you, but nope, nope, nope. And that's because there's some unhidden belief that you've been carrying, that you've been being right about. Remember what I was saying with Gwen? That wouldn't allow you up until now to hear it. So given that that is a belief, that you're ugly and you're weird, just a little bit weird, right? What is the belief that you could design right here tonight to give you access to not wait, but to step powerfully into your gift of leadership?
What will be the belief that I'm going to get now?
Yeah.
That I am powerful.
That I'm powerful.
That God sent me to this world with a purpose.
God sent me to the world with a purpose.
And that everything that I have lived through the pain and through all these things that I have to live when I was a little kid and as a woman are going to give me that strength and
Yes.
that key to continue and be the powerful woman that I know I am.
Beautiful. So all of my history and upset and ups and downs, they are part of the strength, the fiber of who I am to lead in the world. That's what you just said.
Yes.
Can you see creating that belief, that platform will give you access to stepping into your leadership versus I'm weird, I'm different, I'm ugly. No access to your leadership gifts and genius. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes. So same question I asked Gwen. Are you willing to be right about you are powerful, that every part of your history will contribute to the leader that you are, and that God has given you gifts and reasons to be here? Are you willing to be right about that?
Yes.
Okay. And that starts when?
Now.
And it really starts from right now choosing to choose. Does that make sense? Okay, great. Let's give her a big hand. Fantastic. So what I'd like to offer each of you is that every way that you are is a choice. Everything that you do is a choice. And even choosing not to choose is a choice, right? And so in this moment, what you're saying is I'm choosing to be right about a different interpretation of my history, which brings me to another point. People that all of us go through life. See, life is just life, and I say this often. It is just life. When you came to the planet, life was already designed as it is. Life is life. And here's what we say to life. We don't say it out loud, and we might not be conscious of it. But we're saying, life, 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 please change for me. And life stands and says, I am life. And really, that's how it goes. And then it's up to us to figure out who we get to be to have life turn out. Not hollering. We think if we holler enough, we get upset enough, we cry enough, we're in enough pain, that life will change. But life is life. And what we get to do is figure out and choose who we get to be in life. Who do we get to bring to life? Powerful, enough, mattering, so that we create the biggest possibilities for our lives, and that our dreams are no longer treated like fantasies, but they become goals. Does that make sense? In fact, when you think about it, anybody that you know that you experience as powerful or empowered, they have figured out an interpretation of their circumstances to have access to power and empowerment. Not that the things didn't go bad, but they figured out how to look at it. You know what? That happened then, but the truth is, they call me with the pirate patch, ugly, weird, but the way I'm going to interpret that is everything about that I will now use to be a great leader. That's an interpretation. Versus, poor me, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, how could I be treated that way? That's an interpretation. One gives you power, the other takes power. Does that make sense? This is what I mean about intentional conversation. What am I provoking and calling forth through my interpretation, through my choices, through my speaking? We're always one conversation away from transformation. Overused again, undervalued. You think you can, you're right. You think you can't, you're right. Overused, undervalued. Glass half empty, half full. Gratitude or no appreciation for what your gifts are. That is what drives the show. Let's give her another big hand. Great. Let's hear from one more person. At least one more. Yes, Leanne.
I know that I was put here to be of service, and mostly it comes for children, old people, and dogs. Within that, children they drive me. And at 5, my grandmother asked me what I wanted to do. And I said I wanted to feed children, to make sure that they weren't hungry, and adopt children.
And you said this at 5?
Yes.
Wow.
So I do that partially. I'm not there all the way. And
So what's stopping you from partial to full out? Is that where your passion is? If you knew you couldn't fail, would that be what you would be doing full time?
Yes.
Okay. So what's in the way?
Self-doubt of having this turn out for
Self-doubt. So stop
Yes.
there. Why? Why do you doubt yourself?
Well, what I'd like to do is take away foster care, where children, they're waiting either to go back home or to be adopted. And sometimes they never get adopted. And they age out of the system.
So now you're going to the circumstances. I want you to come back to you. Because I asked you a question, and it was, if you knew, another question that's become a very popular question, yet very powerful question, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And you said you would do what you talked about when you first stood up. So now I'm asking you to take a look at what's in your way. And it's not external. It's never time, folks. It's never money. It's never any of that stuff. Those are the things we use, to stop us from stepping into it. Those are our stories and excuses. And those things are realities that we have to alter to support the vision. Am I making sense? Yeah. So, what is it that you fundamentally, and the other thing is, my mother used to say this often,
That sometimes we're too smart for our own good. And so we've got all these stories and excuses and rationales that we've been saying to ourselves for 18, 20 years. I can see y'all so young. So y'all been saying this about 20 years. Some of us about 30, 40 years. We've been saying the same thing. And so we bought it and we believe it. So what is it that you bought about you or whatever it is that is in your way?
That I would not be able to accomplish this.
So what is the belief? It goes back to the same thing. Can you guys see this weave? What is the belief that you have about you that would have you even think that you couldn't accomplish it?
That I'm not good enough to do that.
Yeah, that you're not good enough. So somewhere in your past, something happened. And when that happened, you decided, oops, I'm not good enough, which creates the doubt and like that, right? So same question. Is it a fact that you're not good enough? It is a belief that you've had for a very, and it feels like a fact. But it don't make it a fact, y'all. I know that's bad grammar, but it don't make it a fact. Just because it's old, just because you've been saying it forever and ever and ever, at the end of the day, guess what? It's still a belief, an old belief that you've gathered a lot of evidence to support your point of view so you could be right. Because remember, we're going to always, 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 always be right, even when what we're being right about does not serve us. So the real question tonight is, are you willing to be wrong about how you've had it? Yes. And are you willing to do the work to create the redesign? Yes. And to create a new platform, i.e. set of beliefs about who you are in the matter? Are you willing to do that? Okay. By when? The answer, I have the answer for you. Yes. When we could connect to it in such a powerful way. For me, when I have this conversation, what gets me so excited, I see the world shifts. Every time somebody steps into their vision, the world became a better place. You become a happier person. All the kids in foster care that want to be adopted now have a new advocate. You are alive and vibrant. Does that make, it's just like so amazing. So one question that's popular is the one that I've asked over and over tonight is, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Right? What would you go for? Well, that's what we should step up and do, folks. That's where the juice is. That's where the joy is. That's where your passion is. That's where your gifts are. That's why you've been put here, whatever the answer to that question is. Now, here's another question. What matters enough to you that you're willing to fail for? So the people that you see that are extraordinary, the greats, the forerunners, the ones that are like living at the top of their game that we go, about, right? They have been willing to fail for the thing that matters to them. I think about Michael Jordan all the time, and I'm not a sports fan, never really have seen him play in all those years, you know, maybe on a commercial or two. But really, he was willing to fail for that. Didn't make the high school team. I think he barely did okay on the college team. And you know, that stat on that commercial is a mind blower, how many shots he missed and how many winning point games that he did hit. But he was willing to fail for that vision. Make sense? And when I think about my own life and where I am now, and yes, a whole lot more to go, but that's when I became powerful in my own skin. When what mattered to me, I was willing to look bad for it. I was willing to get it wrong. And most people go, yay, but it was really, I don't believe in failure, but the places where I missed the marks and made the mistakes, it's the 6 corporate jobs that I quit or got fired from that has me walk into this room with freedom. Yeah, it's the times I stopped and didn't go all the way that had me see that doesn't work. Am I making sense? It's even doing this tonight, and they keep pushing this whole thing about the show, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, you know, I love what I do already. I'm 50 plus years old. I'm a no name. What the heck? But I'm willing to step into it in the vulnerability of it all to even have this part of it be a possibility. Does that make sense? I shall never forget when I had decided that was it for my last job. And I was performing at a very high level at the company, such that the CEO came to me. And he goes, how could you be leaving? You're doing so great, and you're so good at it, and you love it. I didn't even have a full answer for him. I says, I don't know. I just know I could play a bigger game. He goes, well, what is the bigger game? I go, I really don't know. He says, what are you going to be, the next Oprah or something? I go, I don't know. I didn't have because it was a training company and we did a lot of speaking. And I didn't really know. And then I began to weep at the reality. I just quit my job and I don't have another one, right? In his office, I'm weeping, oh my God, what if I fail? He goes, Sylvia, you know what? You can't fail going for what you want. Because who you become in the matter on the way is someone so much more powerful than the one sitting on the sideline wondering, what if? And that has turned out to be true. One of the greatest pieces of coaching I've ever had. And so that's what's available for us. Like if I ask you, Gwen, right now, who we were talking to earlier, what is your experience of not going for it, singing? What does that feel like? And speak loud so they can all hear you.
It doesn't feel good. It feels like I'm not
Okay, you don't feel like 100%. You're not yourself. How else does it make you feel? Not going for it, because you live with it day in and day out. It's right there. What else does it make you feel like? Not owning your voice.
Disempowered.
Disempowered. One more experience.
Unhappy.
Unhappy. Okay, great. So let's fast forward. Let's say now, here you go, Gwen, and you go for an audition. And they say, can't sing. How's that going to make you feel?
Probably a little sad at first.
Okay, sad. All right, then she gets back up and she go again. No. How you going to feel? Probably disempowered and sad. Third time. Disempowered, sad. And then she says, you know what, I'm going to go to the village. I gave my declaration. They gave me the date, and now you're on stage. And she get up there and chokes, don't sing. How does that going to make you feel? Disappointed. All right. So the feeling of going for it, the fear of it, is all of those things. The rejections, the no's, but there's a big difference between the two. Of sitting on the sideline versus going for it. Because you can't even see who you're becoming when we're going for it versus when we're sitting on the sideline wondering. And you know what else is true? If you keep going, what will happen, people? It'll turn out. How does one become unstoppable? Is to keep getting up. Keep getting up. That's how. So that's really what's available to you. So now I want you to turn to your partners one more time and share with them what matters to you enough that you're willing to go for it in spite of the fear, the doubt, maybe perhaps might even missing the mark. And what would that experience be like for you in going for it, and what will be possible? So what is it that matters for you that you're willing to go for it in spite of not knowing the outcome? What would that experience be like for you? And what becomes possible in stepping into that? So take a moment and do that, and then we'll wrap our evening.